Chapter 4. The team is loving having a news crew around. They make a show of everything, especially crossing the finish line. So far, the crew is not talking to me, so I try to forget they're even there and not feel too self-conscious about my very visible fake leg. I do my best to act normal, and I shadow Fiona as she moves from event to event. The only time I really forget about my leg is when Shandel comes in second in the 100-meter dash. I cheer my head off for that because she usually gets edged back to fourth, and the best she's placed all year is third. "Way to go, Shandel!" I yell as she prances into the infield. She works her way over to me. "That felt so good," she pants. "Girl, I was flying." "Yes, you were," I bump her fist when she puts it up. "Flying with flames shooting from your feet." Shandel laughs. "Glad you could see him, 'cause I could sure feel him." She cocks her head at something behind me and lowers her voice. "You've got company." I turn around and see the TV news crew standing behind me. "Jessica?" the news lady asks. Her blonde hair is tied down with a scarf. She's wearing a designer sweatsuit and cute little pumas. Nothing like what she wears when she's anchoring the news. "I'm Marla Sumner. It's a pleasure to meet you." I shake her hand. She's smaller than she looks on TV, and even prettier. "This is my photographer, Andy Richards," she says, indicating the man lugging a large black camera bag, a tripod, and a big lens video camera. He flashes a smile, then gets busy with his equipment. "Your coach says you're okay with being interviewed?" I nod. "Good." She looks around, then points to a spot farther infield. "Why don't we do it over there? I'd like to get the finish line in the background." It doesn't take long for them to set up. Marla tells me to look at her, not the camera, and the first thing she has me do is state my name. After that, she's off and running with questions. I'm nervous at first, but since the camera's a little off to the side, I try to block it out and just answer her questions. She's very attentive and nods a lot, and before too long, she's done. "Thank you so much, Jessica," she says. "This is an important story, and we want to do what we can to help." "I appreciate that," I say softly. "How do you feel about us coming to your home? I think it would add a personal dimension if we could include your family in the story." I think that would be okay. You should ask my mom and dad, though." So I give her our phone number and thank her again and set out to find Fiona because her heat of the 800-meter has just been called. I run into Gavin Vance instead. "Hey," he says, "I heard the good news." I look down because holding his gaze is just unnerving. "Nice little snowball you got rolling." I glance up. "Thanks. Hey, if it wasn't a worthy story, they wouldn't be here." "Thanks," I tell him again, then start across the infield. "It's Fiona's race, right?" he asks, following me. "You heading up to Rigor Mortis Bend?" I cock my head a little. "Wow, you better watch out. People might start thinking you're part of the team." This seems to please him, and he falls into step beside me as I trek up to the 300-meter mark. I'm starting to feel a little like it, actually. I snort. "Yeah? Well, you've got a lot of wind sprints to catch up on, buddy." He laughs, then says, "But I did take your advice." "About?" "Running for more than just office." I keep moving. "So you went for a run?" He nods. "I've been a few times, actually." He laughs again. "The first one was torture. It's been a long time." We walk in silence for a few steps, and then he says, You're amazing. This catches me off guard until I realize he's talking about the fact that I'm walking on a pipe. Kiro asked me to wear the uniform, I say with a frown. I'm not trying to be an exhibitionist or anything. Are you kidding me? Who thinks that? He shakes his head. Do you realize how fast you are walking? The gun's gone off for Fiona's race, so I pick up the pace even more. There's no stopping you, is there? He says with a chuckle. Not where Fiona's concerned, I tell him. She has been the most incredible friend. I don't know if it's my comment about Fiona or him not wanting to leave me alone on rigor mortis bend, but he stays there with me. I cheer for Fiona on her first lap, and when she hits the 600-meter mark on her second time around, she's trailing the first-place runner from Hartwell, but not by much. When she crests the curve and hits the bend, I can see the grit on Fiona's face, the focus. I shout, "You can do it, Fiona! Pass her!" Gavin cheers her on too, and it's cute because you can tell he's never actually done this before. Words come out, but they're shy. He's shouting, but there's nothing really loud about it. When Fiona hits the straightaway, her head bobs and she bears down, moving out a lane to pass the girl from Hartwell. Kick it, Fiona! Kick it in! I shout, and then hold my breath as she edges ahead and wins the race. She did it! She did it! I squeal, and I find myself jumping and hugging just like I would with anyone else on the team. Only this isn't just anyone. This is Gavin Vance. And it's my first physical contact with him of any kind. I've never even accidentally bumped or brushed or touched him before, and now I'm hugging him? Sorry, I say, pulling away. Then I try to cover up my embarrassment with words. It's just, you have no idea how hard the 800 is. There's no way you could get me to run that race. It's the 400 times, too. Rigor mortis bend, twice. I have trouble facing it even once. I start moving away from him. Well, I'm going to congratulate her. Thanks for helping cheer her on. And I escape. Not that there's any danger of him following me. Not with Merryl making a beeline toward him the way she is.